Hello, welcome back to Beauty Investigates.
Yes.
Now, we like to look at all types of beauty products and beauty treatments. And today we've got one that you wouldn't really consider a beauty treatment, but it's really important. So I'm the lovely Debbie McGee.
And I am the divine Debbie Arnold.
Divine, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, we've got two other investigators, as always, are Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, which is Natalie Ogle and... I'm waiting for you.
The delectable Deanne.
See, I knew she would.
The naughty Natalie.
Yeah.
Naughty Natalie.
Well, I was saving that for later.
Oh, were you?
I think they'll find that out, actually.
They will.
But most importantly...
The amazing,
yes, incredible, in fact, Dr. Alessia. So welcome to the Mad Show. And so your expertise to do with beauty is to do with beneath the skin, with the blood and genetics.
Yes.
So tell us what you find out and how you go about it.
Yes, so we do a very extensive blood panel. We look at everything, and then we do a full genomic test as well.
What does that mean?
It means, I literally will take a saliva sample and then send that to the lab, and it will give me all of your genes, all of your genetics.
How? I'm so fascinated to how it works.
So the data sequencer, I'm not sure how much information you actually want, but
go on.
Well, your cheek cells have all of your DNA in there. So we send it to the lab, and it profiles all of your DNA. So all sort of almost 30,000 genes. And then from there, we select the genes that we think are going to be most appropriate for you. So, for example, we have a look at how you produce and break down sex hormones, progesterone, estrogen, how your body utilizes things like vitamin D, which we now know is a hormone and incredibly important for all of those sex hormones.
Vitamin D is important for sex.
Sex hormones, yes. without optimal vitamin D, you're not going to have the same utilization of your progesterone, your testosterone, which again, a knock-on effect of what we do is often people have a more enjoyable sex life.
Vitamin D, so there we are. Just give it to your men girls.
You just thought that you took vitamin D because you weren't in the sun. You didn't realise that it was going to... Yes, I'm going to... You actually, Dee, you had it done and you've been taking loads of vitamin D. What's happened to you?
Well, I was just about to say I'd gone very quiet. Because one of the things that you found out, actually, Alessia, was that my vitamin D level was like terribly low.
Yeah.
So you told me to take 5,000. So I'm squirting my mouth with vitamin D all day.
Do be careful, this is a family show.
and also the other thing is you've given me these. My cholesterol was slightly up, which I was really shocked about. Mind you, the other doctor, Dr. Harris Mansour. Dr. Mansour actually did say to me, do I drink alcohol? And I went, no, not really. Which was, anyway. So I think maybe that's why. But he said the good cholesterol...
No, apparently it's the other way round. Apparently alcohol gives you good cholesterol.
But maybe not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so
Dr. Arnold,
as somebody who's half Italian,
yes.
I'm never, I have my fair share of wine in my diet. But I think there's definitely ways to approach it and to drink alcohol in healthier ways.
Yes.
So trying to avoid any sort of sugary mixes. But yes, a
But
glass
like
of dry
red
red wine. Yeah.
Yes.
A glass, not a bottle.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't drink a bottle because that gives you booze face, we call it in my family. And I think especially as you get older, when you're younger and you drink alcohol, the next morning you've just jumped back to normal. But I've found when you get older, once you have more than 2 glasses, the next morning I definitely can see it on my face.
Very puffy.
Dehydration and
Mine
everything.
seems all right, but I fall asleep. I can't really get that drunk, except I did a few weeks ago, and Dee had to come and rescue me.
Oh God, that was funny.
And that was because it was rosé. Rosé wine is like lemonade, isn't it? That's the problem. And I was outside and hadn't eaten. And the awful thing was, and this is what terrified me, was I remember being where I was and I woke up in bed. So I have no knowledge of what happened, how I got home.
How much rosé did you have?
Yes. So we can discuss that later.
Yes.
I think we should jump back. Let's jump back to the blood and genetics.
Yes, exactly.
I think we need to get another doctor on. So I think, going back to what you do, and I can really understand how you can... This is really about making us feel better too, which shows in your skin and everything else.
Yeah.
So with things, what sort of things do you find? So if you do this panel of blood tests, what type of things come up that you then say, oh, like with D, take vitamin D or whatever? How can you, what sort of things can you give us to help?
So, I mean, it's very wide and extensive, but I mean, for example, a lot of people who come and see us are struggling with weight and they want to lose a few pounds, and obviously we're trying to move away from one size fits all, one piece of advice to everyone, because it doesn't work. So we would go through and talk about what sort of foods might be optimum for them, what supplementation might help them with that weight loss, and then other things like a lot of our insulin metabolism and weight loss occurs when we sleep. So actually it's going back and saying, let's have a look at your sleep cycle and your sleep genetics and optimize that. And then once you're sleeping better, actually you'll find it much easier to lose weight and again, look healthier.
No, but you said something, because we've spoken before, and you said something I thought was really incredible. You said about that you were on the pill, and then you stopped taking the pill, and you lost. Not only did you lose loads of weight, but lots of different things were causing you to have weight gain. I can't believe you were that heavy.
So again, obviously the pill is amazing for some people, and we do often prescribe a lot of HRT in the clinic for people who are going through the perimenopause and menopause, but we just try and look at it in a more particular way. So estrogen, for example, is not for every woman. So some women break it down and they produce a more toxic metabolite, and I happen to be one of those people. So what was happening is I was gaining a lot of weight, I was getting a lot of digestive issues, which I thought were sort of IBS, but actually it was hormonal.
Isn't that interesting?
My energy levels as well, I was just constantly tired, I was always fatigued. Once I realised my own genetics, I stopped taking it and just was waking up a lot earlier, a lot fresher, lost about 6 kilos without really changing anything. So it was, sometimes our advice is very much almost taking away things rather than putting things in. And there can be things that people didn't realise were affecting their health. One of the ones that we often look at is about 20% of people struggle with a particular type of B vitamin that comes in a lot of multivitamins. And so people are taking B vitamins because they're tired and they're desperately trying to have more energy, but they're actually making themselves feel more tired because their body can't process that particular type. So we just say, look, avoid that and try and take these supplements instead.
Has anybody had this treatment?
I've had this.
It
was really interesting because you go into this wonderful clinic in Harley Street. It is Harley Street, isn't it? In Harley, yes. Yeah. And it's such a beautiful place to come into. There are wonderful people like Alessia there, and Philip, another doctor who works with you, took my blood and saliva, and then I waited several weeks, and then we had the results, and I went in, and Dr. Mansour, who it was the guru really of the whole thing, wasn't he?
Our lead geneticist.
Geneticist, yeah. He told me about longevity and what to expect, any preconditions that I might be able to, contain at the moment. And it was very interesting because I think everyone's so different. Yeah. And as you said, actually you deal with everyone exclusively, and I think that's fantastic.
I think it's very interesting about, the estrogen of the pill made your tummy bad.
Yes. Stuff like that.
Yeah, a very big study came out of Harvard not that long ago, linking particular estrogen metabolites with IBS symptoms, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating. I mean, the whole thing and the whole aging thing as well. You see, normally, if you would ask me to have one of these tests, I would have been nervous to do it because I would have thought, oh my God, I'm susceptible to this and susceptible for that. But actually, what you've made me understand is that it's not like that. It's the other way. It's kind of the other way round, saying this is your good bits.
Yeah.
Not that if you carry on drinking that amount of rosé wine, you won't be around tomorrow morning. But do you know what I mean? It's quite enlightening. Don't you agree, Nat?
Well, yeah, because then you're given a chance to do something about it before it's too late.
And that is really our ethos. Is it's supposed to be quite empowering to say,
yes,
look, this isn't a diagnosis. It's a slightly increased propensity, and these are little things that you can do in your life to kind of mitigate that, rather than waiting until something happens.
Can you do this with babies? I mean, do you do it with newborns?
We don't, no. We only see adults. But I mean, in theory.
In theory?
Yeah.
That's quite
Start
interesting.
right from the beginning.
Yeah. Because then you'll be able to know what agrees with them, what doesn't agree with them. I think we've started a new business.
Yeah. Well, again, little things like we can see genetic causations of acne, for example. So rather than teenagers going through and having tons of antibiotics and aggressive skin creams and things, having a look and seeing like what's causing inflammation in their body and tackling that, rather than.
And how is that? I mean, how would you say somebody's got inflammation? And I don't really understand when people say it's inflammation. I don't really understand what that means, because we don't get inflamed. What is inflammation?
Yeah, well, inflammation is your body's natural way of dealing with any kind of infection or stress. So your body will start, when you have a red swollen finger, that's inflammation. It's your body's way of trying to deal with whatever injury or toxins in your body. But you can have levels that you can't see, so it's not on the skin level. And you can have inflammation of the blood vessels, inflammation of various organs in the body. So we try and look at, again, people's propensity to that, recommend lifestyle changes, supplements, prescriptions that will reduce that. And yes, cystic acne can be just a type of inflammation in the skin, so we can then advise people what they should be avoiding. And it's a much more gentle and holistic way of dealing with, for example, acne than layering on antibiotics.
Well, we hope to have you back at some point.
Oh, I'd love to.
Because there's a lot more to learn. And maybe if we all have it done, then we can come back and talk about what we found.
I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Ever wondered how lipstick gets its pigment? Possibly from crushing the guts of thousands of insects. In fact, this is how Cleopatra first created carmine. And makeup was also, in Egyptian times, created by crushing of precious gemstones to decorate the face around the eyes and also the lips.
Ivy's our special guest expert today. So welcome, Ivy,
Thank
to
you.
the Madhouse.
Dr. Ivy.
Dr. Ivy. But we do find out lots of really good information aside from all the joking. And so we want to hear about all the treatments that you do. So tell us what your expertise is.
Well, my signature treatment is definitely face design. This is a special treatment that comes out of my 25 years experience.
Are you that old?
Quite old.
And so I've never heard of face design before. So what does that entail?
So, well, I anatomically think about a face like the most complex structure. It has 4 layers of muscles, in 43 muscles, then 2 layers of fat pads, all the ligaments, bloodstream, blood vessels, so quite complex. And on that way, I think face needs to be approached on a very specific way, delivering less is more, microfilling, and just fine-tune the face all the time.
And so what was your background that led you into this? Because you've obviously got medical training, doctor.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did it all happen for you?
Well, I was specialized in oral surgery, so bone was my thing, maxillar and mandibular bone, and it somehow led to natural optimization of all the oral tissues, perioral area, lower facial third, and then at the end, face as a whole. Because I was reconstructing smiles, thinking that smile actually starts in the eyes and with the eyes. So that was the idea behind.
So Dee, how did she start with you? Where did it all begin?
So we're going to be showing some lovely pictures of Dee.
Before and after. Well, I've always had a problem. This is my problem area under here.
Apart from your brain.
Apart from my brain. And stop it. And Dr. Ivy looked at me and said, right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to elongate your chin. I thought, what? Anyway, she did it straight away. Don't hang about. I'm going to start here. And you can see the difference already after one session. And that was, and I've looked actually in the mirror yesterday, you know when you go into the ladies' loo and you'd think, oh, I look terrible in profile. Suddenly I didn't do that. I thought, oh, actually, I'm beginning to look all right.
What's happened, Dee?
Well, Dr. Ivy has just given me the injectables and I'm having difficulty in speaking, but that's because I'm still numb. But it was like not as painful as I thought because, you know, she's so good. And I'm really excited. I can already see a big difference. So I'm excited about this journey. This is going to be wonderful.
Did you start with her chin because that, you know, to get the neck streamlined and get a nice jaw, you know, as you get older, most women, this is where it goes and underneath, isn't it?
Lower facial third is kind of problematic. So to make things quite simple, I always think of platysma of this neck muscle, which is bothering all of us, like tablecloths, and this is table and frame of the table, so I have to position this frame right and then let the let the tablecloths.
And Ivy does something very unusual that no one else has ever done to me before.
Tell us about it.
She does it standing up.
Yeah.
Yes. Hang on,
no. What does that mean?
Well, you're standing against the wall.
Oh, okay.
You're not lying on a bed, you know,
not
thinking about what are you cooking for dinner. So what's the reason for that?
Well, I was working a long time with the movie industry, and then I was a lot of times on the sets, and I thought how to, basically my job was to make beautiful people stunning and giving them this wow effect, and this is very, very precise work. So the most logical thing was actually to have this face in front of you, so you can control the mimics of the face, you can watch from all the angles, and this is how it started.
And so does this involve any surgery, or is it all non-invasive?
All non-invasive.
Which is incredible, isn't it? And I think this is where the beauty industry has really moved on, because so many of us never had anything done because we were just frightened of that scalpel.
Yeah.
And now there are so many things that you don't realise that are out there that we all can get, which is non-invasive, and it's just really like having a facial or something like that makes your skin glow or plump up a bit.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
But it's an immediate, isn't it, Dee? The results are immediate, which is another thing that I love. So, you know, they're just tiny bits, whereas previously if you had, I've never needed filler in my face because I have a big face. And she said, oh, you can just do with a bit of help on your cheekbones. And I was terrified because I thought the last thing I need to do is, you know, have a fatter face. So, and she said, do you trust me? In that lovely voice. And I said, I trust you. So she just put a tiny bit of filler here and here. And I really do think it's made a lot of difference because it's lifted that part, hasn't it?
Yeah. Because beauty is all in details. And you just have to grab the right position and right depth of the injection, and then it comes out. Yeah.
Because normally filler's a bit weird, I've always felt, you know, when I've you know had bits and pieces done before. So I'm not a big filler fan, but that's because I'm lucky enough to have a
beautiful cheekbones.
Yes, thank you.
I think that, you know, the expertise is as well not doing too much.
Exactly.
You don't want to look like you've had anything done.
Yeah.
And so often you see somebody who does look stunning, but you know they've had work done. And certainly, you know, and I know Dee very well, I just thought you looked great and you looked well. I thought, oh, Dee's, you know, relaxed and been on a holiday, and, you know, so I didn't realise you'd actually had that done. So what else did you do on Dee?
Well, I started somewhere in the middle face, I guess, right? And then adjusted middle face, and then I went into lower facial third, protrude her chin, did tiny bit of Botox in her neck.
Oh.
So a lot of little bits and pieces.
Are you finished with her
and
yet?
lips, I think. No. We are just...
we're just getting started.
Yeah.
So
we just did the base of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else do you want to do to her?
No. I will fine-tune her face a bit, around her jawline a little bit, maybe play with platysma and lift up here more around her eyes. Add a few bits and pieces around your eyes, and that's going to be brilliant.
And it'll be amazing.
So face design isn't about changing the design of a face.
No.
It's enhancing what's already there.
Exactly, your natural features.
Yeah.
And the beauty is in uniqueness, and we have to cherish that. And that's why I think it's important to, have this holistic approach on the face, because it's big difference if you have just a little bit done, like nasolabial folds and lips and nose. It has to be really holistic to be beautiful and anatomically precise.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, especially being an actress, because our faces, don't they, Nat, have to move.
Yeah.
I want to know about the chin. How do you elongate?
Protrude, because everything is profile balancing, and side profiles are very important. So it's important to know the angles in between nose tip and lips and the chin, and on that way.
Look the other way, Natalie.
Yeah.
Look.
The other way.
What do you think?
Actually, I did not elongate her chin, I just protruded her chin.
But what about Natalie?
Yeah. And Natalie, Natalie has beautiful chin, actually. Natalie needs just a little bit enhancement around the jawline.
I've got a very strong overbite, my teeth very much. So I'm really getting very strong.
Marionette lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marionette, that sounds quite nice.
I just love the fact that all of these things just improve what you've already got.
Yeah.
Everybody has to age. We can't all stay looking like we looked in our 20s. But it's nice that you can do things that make you actually feel better yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, isn't it? It's just improving. It's not changing and making you look younger. It's just improving everything so you can grow old gracefully and feel good about yourself.
But it's only your body that grows older. Your brain doesn't. Well, mine doesn't.
No, but yours is still at...
That's so true.
Debbie's is still at age 18, isn't it?
No,
8. We all know that. 8 maybe. 8 maybe.
Of course.
Yes. So does this involve, all fillers and things, or is it exercises, or how do you get there to protrude a chin?
To the chin.
Yeah.
Well, it's very important to understand the mimics of the face. That's another thing, because I think what is very wrong and what brings to wrong result is that people don't consider the way of motion and the natural expression on the face. So this is something which never has to be shut down. It has to be like part of everything. And then watching person talking, expressing, moving, smiling, then you understand how long you can maybe protrude the chin, because sometimes the chin can look very weird, or the lower face can start to look masculine on a woman. So it should stay in the frames of anatomy.
Hi there, it's me, Debbie McGee, and I've popped in to give you a definite don't do. And my definite don't do, and it's something I notice all the time, is when you're applying your foundation, don't forget your neck. I see so many people with a line around here and then round face, white neck. If you do forget it, try every day to put some bronzer on your neck, just so you match up in colour if you don't want to put foundation on it. But it's really important. So there you go. Don't forget your neck.
We're going to have you back to talk to us again, but you have been the most brilliant guest. You look gorgeous in Lelo. And we'd like to talk to you about lots of different things, but thank you for what you've done for tea.
Thank you.
Something.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.